Hello, everyone. Welcome to the African People Podcast. This podcast is about Africa regarding the political side, the historical side, the economical side, the cultural side, and so many more. Each week, I deliver my best thought and analysis regarding Africa. Here, your host, Amadou. I have a special guest with me here. Join me to welcome Patricia Moller. She's the former U.S. ambassador to Guinea and Burundi. She has over 25 years of experience in the diplomatic field, and she's the chairwoman of the board of director at West Africa LNG Group. Thank you so much, madam, for joining me this week on African People Podcast.
A pleasure to be with you, Amadou. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really delighted.
Thank you. Please, Madam Ambassador, please can you tell us your experience in Africa?
Be happy to. My experience with Africa really doesn't date much before 2005, and that was when President George Bush nominated me to be the U.S. ambassador to the Republic of Burundi. So I spent a very interesting 3 years in East Africa, in Burundi, working on a number of important issues. And in 2009, President Obama nominated me to be U.S. ambassador to the Republic of Guinea. I was in Guinea from 2009 to the end of 2012. And since leaving Guinea, I spent 3 months as head of our embassy in Morocco. And then I've been back and forth, mostly to Guinea, but also to East Africa, to South Africa, in the years since I left Guinea as our U.S. ambassador.
Thank you, madam. Please, can you tell us what is LNG Group does and what is the purpose of it?
I'm happy to. Yes, we're very excited about it. With 5 partners, 3 Americans and 2 Guineans, we have put together a company called West Africa LNG Group, and that stands for liquefied natural gas, of course. Our company is designed to do one thing only. It is designed to export liquid natural gas from the United States or wherever to West Africa in Guinea, initially into the Bokeh-Bofa region for the bauxite processing, principally for Guinea's free economic zone, and for the Africa Development Bank's Agropole project.
Really interesting, madam. So let's talk about the vision, madam, now. What is the vision and the mission of LNG Group in West Africa, particularly in Guinea?
Well, you know that Guinea for years has, and in fact, now it's the last country on earth that allows miners simply to export bauxite as rocks. It's much more attractive to a country to have some processing go on in that country. It creates jobs, it puts money into the economy, and it generally helps boost economic revenues to the people of the country, as well as to the government. So Guinea rewrote its mining code in the last few years, and one of the new provisions in the mining code says by 2024, companies that mine bauxite must refine at least 25%, I think I'm right about that percentage, of their bauxite ore into the first product toward producing aluminum, which is called alumina. But they need a huge amount of power in order to do that. And you know, Guinea has suffered from a lack of power. It has fabulous natural resources, but it doesn't have a whole lot of fuel for power. And you cannot do it solely with hydro or with solar power. There has to be another source. And in fact, the Guineans feel strongly that nobody wants to bring coal into Guinea. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for people's health when it's burned. It really isn't what you want. Liquid natural gas is clean burning, it's safe to use, and it's generally a cheaper source of energy than diesel oil or heavy fuel oil, any of those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So we, in consultations with the government over years of time, they were very eager to have a source of fuel brought in. And we said, okay, we'll do it. So we put together our project plan,
Mm-hmm.
and we were working with the United States Trade Development Agency, and they funded a big feasibility study. It's a very high-powered study. It's almost finished. It should be completely finished by the end of September, early October.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're launched. It
Mm-hmm.
begins to go. And what our goal is to have liquid natural gas in Guinea,
Mm-hmm.
end of 2021, early 2022, which
Mm-hmm.
will provide power for all kinds of things. It will give the Guinea Free Economic Zone the opportunity to have power. The Agropole will have power to store and process Guinean agricultural products. It really will be the first step, I think, toward rising economic development, initially in the Bokeh-Bofa area, and we hope throughout Guinea.
Mm-hmm. Really interesting, Mother. So let's talk about, like you just mentioned, that about bringing job to the Bokan people and then helping them to have opportunities. So how LNG Group is improving the lives of Guinean people and West African in general?
Well, you know that if you have power, you can do things, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can manufacture, you can store food, you can do processing, you can light your home, you can watch the football game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you get power, it begins to permit other kinds of business to take place. Once you start with that ability to do the kind of business that you want to do, it helps the economy to rise.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't happen overnight, but it begins to happen quickly. And as people understand that now they can be entrepreneurial in ways they had always hoped to be,
Mm-hmm.
they're off.
Yes, that's really interesting. So I know that you have been working with the government in Guinea for a long time, since over more than 10 years now. You have been working with them. So just how the Guinean economy is benefiting from LLG Group, and
Well,
can you give us a few examples of that, please?
Well, let me tell you that right this minute, we haven't started shipping yet. You know, this is a fairly new undertaking. We haven't started shipping yet, but even so, doing our feasibility study, we have worked with lots of Guinean technical specialists to get the kinds of data that are needed to do a feasibility study for a major project such as this LNG project. So we're beginning to be a benefit, and we hope to be a far larger benefit with every passing day.
So listening to what you're saying, so you've been telling us LNG Group, the government has been benefiting from LNG Group.
It will benefit from LNG Group once we start getting the power in. It certainly does benefit because, frankly, I can tell you today that we are bringing a major American financial firm into Guinea for the very first time to assist with the financing for this very, very expensive project. So Guinea's on the map in American financial circles. We feel really happy about that. It simply helps Guinea move forward as an international player, I believe.
Really interesting. Thank you, madam. So let's talk about the Bokan people, because like you just mentioned again, you have been to Guinea, and then I know that you have been to Bokan, and then you see how those people are living over there. It's kind of really different from someone who's living in the city in Conakry. It's a really different life. I'm sorry to say that, but it's kind of horrible how they're living over there, especially in the mining industry over there. So how LNG Group is changing the living condition of the Bokean people.
Okay. Well, once we begin to have fuel available and the companies are able to begin to do their processing of bauxite into alumina, you will see far more jobs in the mining industry. But as the mining industry grows larger and more processing takes place, you will see that knock-on effect. I mean, there have to be greater agricultural projects simply to provide food to feed the employees of the mines, restaurants, cleaning services, telephones, goes on and on. It's you light the candle and you begin to have light. And we hope to be the candle, bringing this fuel in. We will not produce power ourselves. The companies will produce the power, and the Economic Free Zone will produce the power, and the Africa Development Bank will produce the power for their parts of this project. But it is the beginning of a far happier future, I believe, for the people of Boke-Bofa. But ultimately, this project can be replicated moving across the coast of Guinea. And so eventually, it is our goal that you see LNG available throughout.
Yeah. How the government and LNG are working together to impact the local community?
Well, once you have power, you can do anything. Yeah. And we are providing the fuel that will make the power. So I think it's very easy to sit with a smile and think, wow, this area will now have a reliable, less expensive, safe, clean burning source of fuel. Everything is now possible. Once that LNG gets into that area, everything is possible.
Yes. So listening to you mean that LNG Group has been focusing on more to help the Guinean people to get more power, right?
Yes, we're providing fuel. We're not the power company, we're the fuel company. But even doing things like mechanized agriculture takes power. It takes fuel to make the power. And so mechanized agriculture can be possible, which means larger crops. It means more output. And it also means if you have fuel to make power, it also means, Amadou, that you can preserve your crops. You can freeze them. You can make confiture on a huge scale. You can dry food. You can process you can process funyo, much more easily if you have a source of power. Yeah. And so every part of the Guinean industrial segment will be positively affected by having clean, burning, safe, and less expensive fuel to use. LNG is much cleaner than diesel or HFO. And so it's just a better solution. It's a better solution for people, for the environment, for everything. But this ability to have fuel to make power is the beginning of the beginning in many ways. It's the key that you turn and it unlocks things.
As someone who's been to Guinea, I know that you've been there and you know a lot of things in Guinea. And how do you, in your knowledge, how do you see Guinean development? How is Guinea is been developing? What is the change you have been just seeing in Guinea?
Well, in Guinea, certainly conditions are far different today than they were when I first arrived in Guinea in November of 2009. Much has changed and much has improved. there's more improvement that needs to be made. I think we all know that. And we'd like to see that improvement come a little faster than it has.
Yeah.
But I really, as someone who very much loves Guinea and the Guinean people, that's the reason I'm so excited about this project, because it really will move development forward. I'm thrilled about it.
Really, yes. I'm so excited about that project because I know that we really need electricity in Guinea. Yes. So, how do you see the continent in the next 10 years, especially in the development sector?
I think Africa is the next big destination. I can't tell you how many phone calls, how many emails, how many inquiries I've gotten in the last 6, 8, 9 months about doing business in Africa. You know, it's still a little scary for a lot of US firms to think about doing business in Africa, because it isn't like walking into your local Better Business Bureau in Manhattan and saying, by the way, I'd like some business licenses and where do I go and all this. But it's really the kind of place that people are getting excited about. I am now, there's a new American bank and insurance company that is throughout much of West Africa. I'm sitting on the board of that insurance company. It's the Vista Bank Group. Fabulous interest from America. We have an American company building houses in Guinea for Guinean expatriates who want to own houses in Guinea. I'm seeing all over the continent a real surge of interest in how do I do business in Africa. I was having at a dinner party for the prime minister of Tunisia, I guess about a year ago, and the fellow sitting next to me was a big Middle Eastern money guy, and I said to him, and the topic for the evening was doing business in Africa. And so I looked at him and I said, well, why are you here tonight? And he said, because Africa is where the Middle East was 15 years ago. It's ready to go, and I want to go with it. And I think you're starting to see that excitement spread around the world, and the extent to which Africans can say, we want you here to do business, but we want to do business with us. Do business with us, Africans. Don't just do business for yourself. I think that's going to be a big key. We would not have dreamed of doing this project had we not had good, strong Guinean partners.
Right. So, anything else would you like to add, madam?
I can't think of anything else except that I hope that we can come back and do this again in a year or two, and we will have fabulous reports for you.
Yes. Thank you so much, madam, for joining me this week on African People Podcast.
Amadou, a great pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.